What's up, Night Vision crew? Today we're going to be talking about LSU football. Man, I'm here in Louisiana. All I hear about each day is I hear, could LSU, maybe win a natty in year one under Lane Kiffin? Could they win the SEC year one under Lane Kiffin? And you hear so many wild things. I started to think, I say, what are the realistic expectations in year one under Lane Kiffin at LSU? So in this video, I'm gonna dive into that. I'm going to break down why I think he can win in year one and why I think we should, maybe push the brakes on a natty or SEC championship in year one. I definitely think in this age of college football, the stuff that Kirk Signatius did at Indiana, the fast turnaround, I think that's sort of, put in fans' head that, okay, with the transfer portal and the way NIL is now, you can write a blank check or you can go to the transfer portal and you can turn your roster over in maybe a couple months to a year. I definitely think that is true. I think you can definitely turn your roster over in a year, but I think we still have to remember these are teenagers that had to mesh. They had to gel. They're in a locker room together each and every day. So I just think it's going to take a lot of time. But LSU they have a lot of talent. Definitely loaded. They get guys like Sam Leavitt from the portal. You get the best offensive lineman in the portal, Jordan Seaton, to block for him. You got guys like T.J. Dottery from Ole Miss. You got guys back on that defense, Whit Weeks. You got Trey Green out wide, one of the freakiest tight ends in the country. They can't double team him, take too much pressure off of him because all that receiver talent in Winston Watkins, Jace Brown, Eugene Wilson III. Like it felt like they brought in maybe 7 or 8 receivers. They get Harlan Berry back. They get Caden Durham back. That defense is going to be nice. The Princewill, the defensive end from Ole Miss, like they have a nice roster that could definitely win in year one. So it's not crazy to say LSU can't win a natty in year one, but I think it's sort of a piece of day at the jail. Indiana didn't win a natty year one under Kirk Signett. And why I say that is just because I just feel like just the mesh and the bonding, learning the system, I just feel like that's still important in this age of college football. Now, the job potential at LSU. I think LSU has the best college football job in the country because, like I said this on previous videos, you don't have to compete with another big team in state. Like I'm an Auburn fan, you don't have to compete with Alabama. Texas has to compete with Texas A&M. Ole Miss has to compete with Mississippi State, Oklahoma State. You get what I'm saying? You are the premier program in the state of Louisiana. You keep your hometown there. So I think you already have an advantage there. Louisiana culture it's definitely unique. It's definitely different than other states. So these kids they grow up wanting to play for Louisiana. So you already have that advantage year in and year out to keep your best talent home. No disrespect, but Ed Orgeron won a national championship at LSU. Les Miles won Natty, and obviously Nick Saban. I just feel like Brian Kelly wasn't hitting the potential of what LSU football could have been under Brian Kelly because I don't feel like he was pushed. I don't think he was pushing all the right buttons, if I would say. But in year one under Lane Kiffin, LSU they don't have the easiest schedule. Right now FanDuel has them at 8.5. Like let's look at their schedule right now. We're going to start with Clemson, but I think right now they dog walk Clemson. I think they beat Louisiana Tech. Now, you go to that Ole Miss game when they go to Ole Miss. That game is going to be everything you think it is. Toxic, loud, messy. The leak leading up to it is going to be smack talk. It's going to be tons of sound clips leading up to that week. We'll probably see College Game Day there. I think both teams could be undefeated around that point. So I think after that game, when LSU goes to Ole Miss, I think we'll know everything we need to know about LSU in 2026 because Lane Kiffin is going to his old place. He's going to the place where he basically told them to their face, you're not good enough for me to win a national championship. I need to go across the board to Louisiana so I can have the best success for my career because you guys can't get it done here. That's basically what he told them. And I also think it's gonna be another different type of style of LSU offense than what I'm used to seeing the running the ball, smash mouth football, play good defense. Blake Baker's back on defense. They're gonna play good defense, but they're gonna play fast on offense. Sam Leavitt, them guys, they're gonna play real fast up tempo. You guys know what his Ole Miss offenses, Alabama offensive look like. It's gonna be a different type of offense. So I'm very interested to see how LSU and Lane Kiffin fit together because you know when he first took the job, I thought it was a weird fit, but you can definitely see where it could come together. If everything buys in, you definitely could see why this is a good fit. You know, you see things like Lane Kiffin at concerts, him at Mardi Gras, stuff like that, embracing the Louisiana culture. So I definitely think you can see why Lane Kiffin can be successful at LSU because Brian Kelly didn't do these things. Now I don't know if he was doing stuff like going to Mardi Gras, but I think Lane Kiffin understands it because he's a little younger. He knows the type of buy-in it takes at a big school like LSU. He knows what it's like to play in the SEC week in and week out. So I think it'll definitely be an interesting fit, but I think it's going to work out long term. I think long term LSU can turn into a scary team, like a very scary team, and in the next 2 to 3 years if Lane Kiffin can do this right. I want to know what you guys think below in the comments. Please let me know. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you guys would like more LSU content. Thank you guys, and I'm out.